Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about my favorite, or one of my favorite sleepers in the AFC. That's obviously the Las Vegas Raiders here. Now, I know it's just preseason, but I think this team, the bottom of the roster, is way more improved than in years past. We've been covering this Raiders team for a couple of years now, and obviously the overall, first off, Geno Smith, starting quarterback, Ashton Genty, defensive line with Max Crosby. I know they've gone through some stuff with Christian Wilkins in the offseason, but John Spytek, GM, Pete Carroll, head coach, Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, defensive coordinator, and guys like Jamal Adams right here just really sniffing this out, shedding a block, getting this tackle for a loss. It's just all these little things that we saw in preseason and in the season in general. Now we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different Raiders, Brock Bowers, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, and Malcolm Kuntz, for example. We're starting it off with Jamal Adams because he made the 53-man roster, kind of as expected when you watched this game live against the Seattle Seahawks. This right here is what he does best, and I don't care, you're not getting 80% snaps Jamal Adams. You're not getting a prime Jamal Adams. I don't really care about all those little specifics. You lose him right here on screen. But this is him doing what he essentially did best a couple of seasons ago, right? He's blitzing in the nickel. You're not going to block him if you're a running back. And he gets Drew Lock out of the pocket. He almost gets this sack here, just barely misses him. But this is just the small stuff. The bottom of this roster, it's just way better. And then there's more consistency with Geno Smith, and you get excited with Dante Thornton that we're going to talk about, Ashton Genty, all of these rookies. It's just a different vibe in Las Vegas, and I know some people, we've been saying this for a couple of seasons now, but this one feels genuinely legit. They feel competent, whether it's Tom Brady, John Spytek, Pete Carroll, whatever it is. So let's get into it. There's a new defensive line, a.k.a. Christian Wilkins, no longer a member here. I want to take a look at a couple of things, because this is a clip from preseason against the Arizona Cardinals, as you can tell here. And we've got Tyree Wilson right here, who's moved into the interior defensive line. And then we've got Jamal Adams right here that we've been talking about in the last 2 minutes of this video. And I'll let it play out here, because this is the kind of small stuff that gets lost, and people just come into the comments, just like Ashton Genty, anytime he got any single snap, saying, this isn't going to work, he's going to get injured, this is a bust, this is what he's like not playing a Mountain West team. What we're looking at right here is this. All right, so Jamal Adams is obviously blitzing, and he's going to end up batting this football down. But I'm looking right here. This is Tyree Wilson, and I love to draw on these. What he's doing right now, those two little dots that are extremely hard to see, he's taken on two offensive linemen. Now, it's actually 3rd and goal right here. All right, and I really liked, even though it's preseason, everybody says it's plain, it's vanilla, it's dry. Don't really get that. I really, truly don't. I think defensive schemes, I don't really fully understand that. But this is just forcing, on a 3rd and goal, a field goal. And it's just this small little stuff, these small little details. You got Tyree Wilson, first off, a bunch of blitzers, a bunch of rushers, I should say, and some blitzers for the Raiders defense here, putting pressure on the QB. And, they're playing second string, whatever. Even if they're playing first string, like they are right now, whatever. You're getting a double team on Tyree. Leaves time for Jamal Adams, and he tips the ball, and now it's 4th and goal, and Arizona's got to settle for 3. That small little stuff is something I haven't seen from the Raiders in a couple of years. Even just to piggyback, you've got Tyree Wilson right here, but what we're looking at is Malcolm Kuntz, number 51, and there's going to be that's a terrible line. Terrible, terrible line. I'll let it even just play out before we get into it, because they do a little thing. He's got a great move here, and then Tyree helps trip him up. I really like this. All right, Malcolm Kuntz, obviously, if you're a Raiders fan, you know what I'm talking about. He was on his way essentially to stardom, and then he unfortunately tore his ACL in practice. And now we have a fully healthy Malcolm Kuntz, and like I said, Tyree Wilson with a little bit of a cleanup here. People were worried, people were concerned about this defensive line because, first off, Malcolm Kuntz coming back from a torn ACL. Not even to say his name a 3rd time on this damn video, already 5 minutes in. Christian Wilkins, the loss of him. But they make that trade for Thomas Booker. You got Adam Butler. I don't really... I think the front 7 if anything, and especially the defensive line, is a strength for Las Vegas. All right, this is where the quote, it's tackle football. I draft the guy they can't tackle, from Ashton Jeanty. And this clip actually got made fun of a lot because people are like, well, oh, hey, this isn't going to work in the NFL. He's going to get injured. He's got to take a Frank Gore approach. And I'm also looking at this block from Dante Thornton, which is beautiful. But if you don't think, and Raiders fans caught on to this early on because Jeanty didn't have the best first preseason game, and then they play San Francisco, and we see we're about to get into his touchdown. If you don't think that's going to work in the NFL, I'm not quite sure what to tell you. It worked in college at an insane level, and despite even being a rookie running back, and like I said, we're talking about little things here. Dante Thornton right here, rookie wide receiver. We're going to get to him in a few clips. Doing the little stuff. Look at that block. Leaving that lane open for him to either break a tackle or force a missed tackle. I love it. I love these small little details. Now I get it. We're getting a little redundant here. Stuff I haven't seen from Las Vegas. At least, maybe a better way to phrase it. And by the way, guys, hit that like button. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. Try and get this video to 100 likes. It makes a very big difference. So thank you guys for watching. We got Jeanty here. This is just as simple as they come. And don't worry about that fumble. He had already scored a touchdown. The Zamir White experiment, and I was actually glad he made the 53-man roster much better in a complementary role. And obviously, Raheem Mostert is also a new free agent acquisition. Dylan Lobby made the roster, which was also very cool and exciting to see because his hype was real coming out of the draft. And he had that fumble early on last season and left a sour stain in everybody's mouth, but he's back with a vengeance. I haven't trusted this red zone offense in a while. And with Geno Smith, that changes. But especially with Ashton Jeanty. You make your money. You score the touchdowns in the red zone here. And the Raiders offense hasn't been great or consistent or reliable in a couple of seasons now. And that's it with Ashton Jeanty for tonight's video. So we'll move back to Dante Thornton and Geno Smith, Brock Bowers. But it's just, like I said, it's just all these little things. They just add up, and it has me feeling confident. So I'll show you the other angle in a second. I don't really like the end zone angle of this play. We got Geno Smith, Arizona. Down below, you can barely even see him at this point in time. Like I said, I'll show you the other angle, the touchdown angle of Dante catching this football. We've been seeing and hearing a lot of hype with Dante this season. And the willingness and trust, because the dude's big, 6'5". I mean, he's a big body. I don't care that it's preseason. The trust in the throw on this is spot on. The big thing, the big concern some people have with Dante Thornton heading into the season, people still think this wide receiver room is thin. They picked up Amari Cooper a couple of days ago. They still got Jacoby Myers. I know the whole contract dispute is very annoying right before the season officially begins. Jack Best, Trey Tucker, obviously Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer as well. The big thing with Dante that people were concerned about is that he hasn't had too many catches in the national or in college football. So how is that going to translate into pro? And I'll show you this other angle because it's super impressive. The throw is beautiful, but it's very impressive, the adjustment and just the footwork that Dante makes to reel this ball in. I'll end it on this video, and I just wanted to say, Geno throwing the football here, the last clip I showed you, I just wanted to say, for people that think that this isn't anything, I think the fact that you get this throw, you make this catch, you put the feet in that you can also barely kind of see, that for a confidence meter for a rookie, that's what I love. And that's why I love preseason. I just like the NFL in general. But I'm very excited about this Raiders offense and defense. And, no matter if they're winning, 9 football games, 11 games, 13 games, whatever it is, whatever your projection is, this year feels genuinely different. It's very exciting for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. We got the regular season here starting this weekend. So let me know if you want any film studies from preseason or anything like that down below. And we'll see you soon. Peace.